And welcome back to the channel, and most importantly, I wish everybody a good day. Well, you're staring at another set of these side view mirrors, which I'll show you the name of the company because I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I will butcher it. You can see the name of the company there. Same company that made the side view mirrors, if you saw in our 2500 video. Now in our 2500 video we took the factory mirrors off, which the factory mirrors didn't have turn signals, didn't have puddled, and they weren't tow mirrors. They also were not auto fold in. So we gained a lot adding the aftermarket mirrors onto this truck. I'll put a link in the description to this install video, or I'll also pop it up here on the screen. I believe it'll be in the right hand corner. We're going to do a very similar setup, but for our 2012 1500, because if you see here in our 1500, much like our 2500, the factory mirrors do not have the puddle lights and they do not have the turn signals. Now, try to keep the light out of your eyes there. They are heated and they are electrically adjustable, but they're manually fold in and manually fold out, you know, pretty much a standard side view mirror. So much like our 2500, we're going to upgrade them to this kit here. Let me show you that model number, and there you go. Now there's some differences between these tow mirrors and the tow mirrors that we put in our 2500, and two of the big changes are these are not power fold, these are manual fold. I didn't really want to add power folding mirrors to our Red Ram because it would require definitely some module changes on the doors and a new bank of switches on the driver's side, much like we did our 2500. Now we put power fold in our 2500 mainly because when I ordered the mirrors, that was the option that came with the mirror. So on this one, we're still gaining the turn signal, as you can see, but at much more viewable area, rather than it being just a small corner on the top like you see here. You'll see that we have two nice big wide strips here. So plus these are also sequential or animated, I guess is the way to think about it. What they're supposed to do is when you actuate them, it kind of has like an animation towards it. I think they either go this way or they'll go this way. Now we also got our puddle lights on these replacements, and they're still heated and they're still adjustable. So we got our two factory options, and plus we have the options that we're looking to add, which is the turn signal and the puddle lights. Now again, these are manual folds, so they don't have the power fold option. Now they do have another option that we won't be wiring into this vehicle. It's just a preference thing. Now you'll notice there is an extra connector here, and this one does not plug into like a factory harness or module or connector or any of that. It's something you have to wire in manually. And what this is that this is what they consider their switchback turn signal setup, meaning if you wire this into an appropriate power source that is active when the exterior lighting system is on, this will light up white. And when you actuate the turn signal, it'll go from white to be an amber, and then when the turn signal's off, then it will go back to basically being a white running light. So very much the same type of switchback as we have in our 2500 here, where this bottom one here is our running light and it's our amber turn signal. Now I don't think I'm gonna wire in the running lights on here. It's just a preference thing. I don't really want the running lights on the sides of the side view mirrors. I might change my mind in the future about that, but for the time being, what we're going to use this for is just its turn signal ability and its puddle light ability. Like I said, I'll just zip tie this up somewhere inside the door, and if we choose to wire it up in the future, we can. What we would need to find is a source, a 12-volt source is active when the exterior lights is on, and then run that source into a location where we can tap this wire into it, both from the driver's and the passenger door. Now I did look at the existing wiring diagrams of what circuits are running into both the driver and the passenger door, and on this 2012 there just isn't an existing circuit that's there and active when the exterior lights are on that we would be able to tap into easily. So it would mean we would have to find another source in the vehicle, or locate the appropriate fuse tap and then run a fuse tap in from our fuse box here, or tip them in this case here, into the cab and then route it into both doors. So for the time being, like I said, I really just want these for the puddle liability and the improved turn signal visual from the truck, and then we'll go from there. Now, in case we need them, I'm not sure if we do or not. Now, these are tow mirrors, and if the provision is there in the 1500 doors, which I'm not sure if it is or not, we did pick up, just like on our 2500, we picked up another set of these reinforcement brackets that you saw me use in the last video. And I'll show you the part number for that one once again. There you go. And I went ahead and drilled out that bottom hole, that just like we did in our 2500, and also hit it with a little bit of paint to help protect the exposed edges. And if you remember, in our 2500, we had to do that to get the extra kind of adjustment we needed to get all the bolts to line up. So in the event that the 1500 doors have the provision to use these, we went ahead and picked them up. If not, we'll just hold on to them for another purpose. And just like our last set of side view mirrors from this company, we got a new bag of fasteners, in which case we'll more than likely just use the factory fasteners, just like we did in the 2500. No issue with these fasteners, but the factory fasteners are a little bit more stout. And of course, we've got another box of trim, another 4-pack of trim removal tools that come with the lights. So what we want to do is that we're going to get over here, just like last time. We're going to start with our passenger side. We're going to get this door card off. It comes off pretty much the same way as it did the 2500. You pop out this piece of trim here. There's a Phillips screw. This trim ring comes out. This switch panel comes out. And then you pop out these little kind of fake, so to speak, Torx, plastic Torx screws, and then the base underneath, and eventually we can lift this door card up and out. Now this side piece here, just like the 2500, just pulls out and unclips, and you can see we've got access to all 3 of our fasteners now for our side view mirror. So what I'm going to work on, and the other thing is, we're going to be doing a little bit of an experiment with this, and I'll touch on it when we get ready here, is that we're going to use the existing door modules. I'm not going to change those, because what I want to see is, since these door modules, just like the ones in our 2500 did, now in the 2500 we changed out the door modules because everyone says that you have to. Now these door modules, they have the plug in them, the extra plug in them, and the extra pins in them that we need already. Now whether that means they're already set up to do this and the option just needs to be enabled, we're going to find out. So we're going to leave the door modules alone. We're going to change out the mirrors. We're going to program the truck and see if we get the puddle light and the turn signal functionality without having to go through the expense of changing those door modules out. So there's also going to be a little bit of experiment on this side as well. So what I'm going to concentrate on, again, like I said, is getting this trim ring from this handle out of here, get this switch panel out, take these fasteners out, and then once we're done, we should just be able to lift this door card up just like our 2500 and pull this whole panel out, and that'll get us access to the module we need to disconnect the electrical for the rear view mirror, and we can get started on it. So let me get started on pulling this door card out of here, and I'll bring you back. One moment. And welcome back. So we got our side piece trim removed, we got our inside trim ring underneath our door handle out, we got our switches out, and we've got all of our little plastic fasteners out from around our door card. So we should just be able to kind of reach in here just like we did before. Reach, pull straight up, clear your door lock lever, and there we go. And we are out. And yeah, see, that is the additional port that I'm talking about there that the mirror is going to plug into. So it's going to have 2 plugs. The plug you see here, the existing one, and the new one will plug in right next to it. So that's why we're going to try it. So we're going to just, again, like I said, we're going to leave these modules in there, and we'll see if they're going to support this extra functionality without having to buy new door modules. So same process as before. You can see that we've got one fastener here. We just got to unclip from our door card, unplug from our module. Now we'll be taking this piece off of this factory loom and fabric taping this back to our new mirror, just so we can retain that connection point. And then what we can go ahead and do, and again, you can always take a picture of this if you're not doing video like me, and that'll help you remember what plugs go in the what sockets. Now these plugs are all keyed as well, so they'll really only fit into one bay in my experience, but it's always best to take a picture just in case. There we go. That is now unplugged. Now what we can do is just get our 3 fasteners off of here. We'll drop the mirror, and just to confirm, you do see here that we do have, just like in our 2500 door, we do have the provisions here to put our Rivnuts in and our support brackets for our tow mirror. So we'll do that as well. So, but let me work on getting this mirror out of here. And typically, if this is anything like the 2500, when we take these 3 fasteners off here, there'll be a clip that actually still holds that mirror in place for us. So I'm gonna work on getting this out, and I'll bring you back. One moment. And welcome back. So you can see we got our side view mirror off, and just to show you, yes, it did have the little clip on the side just like our 2500. So when you get those 3 fasteners off there, that will kind of help hold it in place. But again, just kind of reach around the top of the window here and just steady it with, grab hold of it with one hand while you take that final fastener loose, just in case, you know, that clip is broken or not working. But these mirrors look to be pretty much identical to the factory mirrors that we took off of our 2500. And just show you the kind of the size comparison between the two. They're a little bit bigger. You can see there. So about a few inches bigger as far as length, because again, it's got that extra side view, your extra tow mirror piece there. So now that we've got that out, I'm going to work on just, again, getting this off of here. It's just taped in place. We're going to transpose that over. We're going to work on getting our Rivnuts in place for our support brackets. And while we're here, just like we did in our 2500, we're going to clean this area up behind this mirror, because no better time than now. And then we'll put a little layer, and we'll also buff this with some wax as well, just to help further protect this area behind it. So let me get to work on cleaning this area up. And as far as these Rivnuts, you've seen me do this before. I'm just going to use the Rivnut install tool like in the previous video. I'll show you quickly when we get to this step here, and we'll get these installed in these spots here. So let me do a little bit of cleaning, and I'll bring you back. One moment. And welcome back. So we got this area cleaned up inside the door as well. We went ahead and wiped off the dirt and put a little bit of Automotive wax on here. As you can see, it makes it look a lot better, nice and shiny now. And that wax really brings out the flake in that paint. Hopefully you can see it's got a very a lot of sparkle to it. And this is what I'm using in case you're curious. Just a little bit of this on either side of it, again, just to help clean around it, help protect it, especially underneath this mirror since we have it off. And again, no better time than now to clean behind it. So again, as you can see, we just got all the dirt off, got done kind of buffing the wax out. Looks a lot better than what it did. And what we're working on now is just getting our Rivnuts installed into our door. I'll put a link in the description to this tool that I'm using, but I got this, I want to say a couple of years ago, last year, a couple of years ago. It just comes with a selection of inserts to thread onto the Rivnut, as well as it helps expand this out. If you don't have one of these tools, like I said before, these particular brace kits come with these inserts which feel to be aluminum, so you may just be able to put the bolt in and kind of hand tighten it up and let the bolt crush this down. But I'll put a link in the description below to where I got this. Like I said, you'll get the tool, you get a selection of inserts, and they'll also give you quite a bit and a pretty good selection of Rivnuts that you can use for any purpose you deem to need one for. But I guess what I'm saying is you get the tool, you get the bits, and you get a nice selection of Rivnuts to use that come with the tool. So just as before, we're just going to insert this in here, give the handle a couple of pumps, tighten it up, and then go from there. And I'll see if I can get you in to kind of see one of these, maybe when I do this one and this one. But again, they're aluminum, so I'm not going too aggressive as far as the crimp. Just like in our 2500 video, these came with this little rubber O-ring on it, and I'm only compressing this down just to where I see that rubber O-ring start to kind of smush out. So let me get the first one in, I'll bring you back and see if I can get you focused in on that one or either that one, and I'll show you what I'm doing here. So one moment. And welcome back. So we got the first one in, no issue. We got a new one loaded up in our tool. And so what I've got right now is I've got the arms extended on the tool, as you can see, and I've got our Rivnut threaded in until it's snug in with the top. And these are an M6 bit on this particular set, in case you're curious. Line that up with our entry point there. And I'll see if I can hold you in here stable enough. So what I'm going to do is just squeeze the handle in all the way one good time, and now that we've got it compressed, come back out with the handles, and then what's going to happen is we've got some slack to take up. So we're going to just take this center adjustment screw here, and I'm just going to thread this in until the tool is snug with the insert again. Now at this point, since we're on our second pump of the handle, I'm just going to watch that little rubber O-ring in there, watch it start to compress. Okay, that's 2 pumps of the handle. I think we're just about there. I'm going to go a little bit more, not too much more. Again, going to tighten up our screw here because we're taking up that slack from compressing that nut. Get our tool solid. Just going to give it a little bit more of a pump of the handle here, and I think we're done. Like I said, I'm not going too aggressive on these. There you go, and I think that is enough. Anything extra we can take up when we tighten up the bolt for the bracket. You know, I just don't want to go too aggressive with these since they seem to feel kind of like they're aluminum. And I don't want to break one off on the door. So I'm just unthreading our tool from our insert. And you can see down in there that that little nut on the inside has been drawn forward, and we've started to collapse our little rubber gasket here. So I'm going to work on getting the third one into the door, and then I'll bring you back. One moment. And welcome back. So we got all the Rivnuts in, and we started getting our bracket in place. Now all the bolts are loose to give us the wiggle room to kind of jostle this bracket a little bit back and forth to get all of our bolt holes to line up. But you can see that we've got our new mirror on. We're getting our fasteners started to clamp everything down. Now, just like on our 2500, these mirrors, like I said, it's a lot of new material for these things to push through. So these clips on these new ones don't quite engage the door well enough to kind of hold the mirror by itself. So easiest thing to do is just kind of reach in through the top of the door here, hold the mirror with one hand, and then just get that top bolt started a few threads, and that'll kind of hold everything in place, so that way you can get the rest of the hardware in. So what I'm going to work on is getting this hardware tightened up, and then I'll bring you back and we'll do some electrical connections. So one moment. And welcome back. So we got our fastener switched over from our factory harness, and mainly just wanted to make sure that that secure point stayed there. One, to help secure the wiring harness, and two, to help hold this in place, just so this wiring harness stays away from this reinforcement bracket that we added, because you can see it is kind of close, so that kind of helps hold that into position. So going down here for our electrical wiring. Now this was the blue one, the extra blue one that you have to kind of wire in yourself if you want to use those turn signals as switchbacks. I don't think this has to be powered up with 12 volts in order for the turn signals to work, because there are cases in which you can turn your turn signals on and not have your, you know, your exterior running lights on. I did unplug, however, from that bundle. Let me show you here. To figure out what I did with it, there it is. This was the extra wire they gave you, and it just plugs in to that plug there. So just so that this wasn't all bundled up behind the door, I just removed it for now, and then we'll just take a tie wrap later and kind of secure this connector. And like I said, it'll be there, and if we ever decide we want to enable that feature, we can just wire it into the appropriate power source. But again, we got a black and a white connector. You can see that these connectors, as I was talking about earlier, these connectors are keyed differently, slightly differently from each other. So normally, yeah, you can see the white connector is supposed to go in this bottom one, but you can see because of the keys on this one, it won't actually let you do it. This one goes in the one connector that's one higher, plugs in, no problem. And this is the new one that we're going to have that we didn't have before, which should be our turn signals and our puddle lights, which will plug into the connector below it. And like I said, I'll just get a zip tie and we'll zip tie this one up. So what happens here now is that we'll leave the door card off until we get our programming done, just so in case we have to look at anything or troubleshoot anything, we don't have to take the door card off. But this one's all tightened up, this one's installed, electrically connected. What we'll do is we'll hook up the door switch on this side temporarily, just so that we don't get any erroneous errors. And then I'm going to work on getting the mirror done on the driver's side. Again, it's the same process that you saw me do on this one. Take the old one out, add the Rivnuts, add the bracket, slide the new mirror in place, and make our two electrical connections. And then once we're ready to do the AlfaOBD programming, I'll bring you back and I'll show you what the program is like on this one. It's a little bit different on this 2012 1500 versus our 2016 2500. There's fewer options within the Alpha software, but I did see the options that we needed for the puddle and the turn signal, and to let the truck know there's tow lights on the doors. So again, I'm gonna work on getting the driver's side done, and I'll bring you back. One moment. And welcome back. So I just want to show you, so you can see that we've got our driver's side installed, done, to include our reinforcement bracket, just like on our passenger side. Got our wire clipped in place, and we did the same thing here with the little blue wire. Again, that's just for the running light aspect of that turn signal, which at least at this point in time will, like I said, we may come back and enable that option later, or we may not. But we do have the door controls in. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to pause you, get you zoomed in on the phone. I'll screen capture the phone as well, but I'll get you zoomed in on the phone in case the screen capture on the phone doesn't work. And then we'll get in here and make the changes necessary to AlfaOBD to hopefully enable the features on our mirror. Now, again, just to reiterate that we're using the existing modules. We haven't changed these out. So we're going to find out whether simply just enabling the option, whether these modules are supported, or if it's going to, you know, force us to have to go and also replace these door modules. So like I said, we'll give it a shot. So let me pause you and bring you right back. One moment. And welcome back. So I got you zoomed in on the phone here. We are connected via Bluetooth to our Bluetooth OBD2 dongle, which is in this case the OBD Link MX Plus. We are set to RAM 1500 body computer. And the control unit, since this is a 2012, we're going to go into my 2006 to 12 non-power net. And then we're going to connect.
So we are connected to our gateway module. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you notice one thing I like to do is come down to the picture of the car with the open hood here at the bottom. And the first thing we're going to do is do a backup to file. So we're going to back up the config to a file. So that way, in case anything goes wrong or we need to go back and reference any changes, maybe revert something back, then we've got a kind of a record of what we've done. So backup vehicle configuration to file. And we're going to start that process. You'll see it says started, please wait, and completed successfully with today's date. So now that we have that, if we grab our pull down now and go into car configuration change, grab our option here. Now, as you see me do before, for this first one, if we search for the word mirror, you'll see that we have power folding mirrors, which we do not have folding mirrors in the option that the mirrors that we bought. We already have heated mirrors already done. So mirror contains signal lamps. Now I've kind of went through this one before, but I'll go through the motions again, and you'll see this one. We're going to do a value of set and hit start, and you'll see it's already set to set. So I've already changed this one. Now the second one is hidden a little bit. If we come into, and it is going to be under, I have to dig for this one a little bit. Door lamp configuration. So config option, vehicle config to door lamp configuration in this case. If we grab that option and grab that pull down, you'll see we have an option for puddle lamp. So I'm going to select that. Now, I believe that is what we need to do in this 2012. We're going to find out. So we're going to hit start on that. You can see it's currently set to none. We're going to set it to puddle lamp. We're going to hit start. Procedure completed. So we changed the two options there. We changed the options and told it that the mirrors contain the turn signal lamps, and we set the door option to puddle, because I didn't find another puddle option that referenced the mirror specifically. And again, just to kind of show you what I'm talking about there, if we search for mirror, you can see we have a power folding option, heated mirror, mirror contains signal, mirror switch attached to door module, and an interior mirror, EC mirror present. Now, the other thing I want to search for, so I didn't find puddle. The only place I found puddle, just getting back to that one real quick, was in the door config. Now, the other one that we're looking for to change is, I want to see if this one also has an option for tow. So it's aware they're tow mirrors. Yeah, just a trailer tow. It doesn't, I don't even see the option for tow mirrors themselves. I'm just going to scroll through the vehicle config list here. Body, country, trim, fuel capacity, wheelbase. Yeah, like I said, the 2012 options are different, obviously, than the 2016. So, yeah, you can see them there. We have an option for heated mirrors, which we already know are on. Power folding, which we're not going to use. Okay, disable tilt column. Yeah, I don't see an option in here to tell it actually that it actually has tow mirrors like it did on the 2016. Just going through the rest of the options here real quick. Even when I searched for it, I couldn't find it. I just want to make sure. So, from what I can gather, I think that will give us enough to give us the two options we were looking for, the turn signals and the puddles. So what I'm going to do is come back here, come back to our key icon, and I'm going to disconnect. And then now I'm just going to shut the ignition off, let the truck go to sleep, and then we'll see if we at least have turn signals and puddles. If not, we'll have to do a little bit of digging. It may require some additional settings in AlfaOBD, or we may find out that we do indeed have to replace those door modules, but we shall see. Bring it back. It'll be a few moments for you, but a few minutes for me, so one moment. And welcome back. Well, it's been a few minutes. The truck's had time to take a little bit of a nap. Let's see what we got. Let's try, we're just going to put the key in the ignition, at least turn it to the on position.
And then we'll see if we have turn signals. Now, the other thing to change the note about these new mirrors is that unlike the ones we put in the 2500, the turn signal isn't in the glass. It's actually out here on a corner piece of the plastic here. Ooh, look at that. We have turn signals. Nice. Let's go, let me try that on the passenger side. Yep. We have turn signals now on the passenger side. Let me show you, bring you over there to show you that. Ooh, we have puddle lights too. I don't know if you see that because I opened the door. And I could tell you by the brightness they're at that they are working. They're correct. Because if middle of the day like this, prime afternoon, oh, forgot to check that on the driver's side, but that's what I was talking about, the sequential. So you see it kind of starts here and goes this way. You can see it's got a nice animation to it. It's nice and big. It's very, very visible to other individuals. And there you go. You can see that we've got that there, and you can see that we've got our puddle light on here as well. So awesome. So now if that wasn't working, what it would be is that you would see it lit, but it'd be very, very dim. But like I said, with this being middle of the day like this and being as brightly lit as it is, that is awesome. Now these mirrors, like I said, they're manual fold in, so they just kind of go like that and they'll set. So they're not a power, but again, you can see when you pull them out, they lock in place. We should also be able to, once I figure out how to do it, there we go. You can see we can flip them up into the normal tow position. Let me go ahead and turn those turn signals off. And then we'll go back to the driver's side and we'll do the turn signals there and verify that we see the sequence here. There we go. So you can see that like that. I like that a lot. That is very, very nice to have on a set of mirrors. If you ask me, again, it just allows that oncoming traffic to, you know, not have to see or not have to notice the turn signal. In a little space down here, we got a nice, much bigger visual indicator on the door itself. So awesome. Let me just hit the four-way flashers. Those should work without an issue. Yep, I see the passenger one blinking. I see the driver one blinking. Okay, so awesome. Let me go ahead and shut this key off. Beautiful. Okay, so we are down there. Awesome. So now I did look through the forum groups real quick to verify. So yes, according to the groups in AlfaOBD for a 2012 vintage, which is the one is, so it would probably apply to an 09 through 12 because they are within the older vintage range. 2013 is where Ram made a lot of internal electrical changes, programming changes, multiplexing changes, so on and so forth. So one of the reasons why we can't do an upgraded dash in this one, which I would love to do, I'd love to get the upgraded cluster and put that in here, but this cluster operates completely differently than a 2013 and up does. But either way, I digress. So yes, the two changes that we made, because remember we already had the heated mirrors in this truck, where the turn signal lamps present is set to set, as well as within the door config, we changed the option to puddle lamps. So those two options there. And as you can see, it's working just fine, so with no issue. Let's test the final bit here while we're here. Let's go to the driver's side mirror controls. And I don't know if you can see that move there. You can see that we do have mirror controls. Let me try the passenger side. There you go. Yeah, so no issues there. So we're working. We're doing what we should be doing. Awesome. So the nice thing is the experiment in this case worked. So again, we put the braces on, we put the lights in, and we plugged the two connectors into the existing module. So we didn't need to do a complete module swap in this one. And it's working okay, as you saw, for the turn signal and the puddle lamps. Now, would that work if you also got the tow option on here? I don't. And welcome back. Sorry about that. Battery died, so I got you plugged in an external pack. Plus, it's really, really hot out here. So real quick, just to recap, you saw that the mirrors do work, the sequential turn and the puddle lamps. I did verify that within the forums that those were the two changes to make for an 09 to 12 and AlfaOBD, which was door config. We changed door config to be puddle lamps. And we also changed the turn signal lamp present in the mirror to set as well. So those two changes, as you saw, got everything working. And you can see that we are working with the existing door modules. We did not upgrade those. Now, with that being said, would those door modules work if we would have got the power fold option? It's possible. I can't say for certain unless I would have actually have done that. But even at a minimum, even if the module would have supported it, we would have still had to have gotten a driver's side switch bank here and gotten one with the center button, which you can see on this one's missing, but the center button that would normally go right there that would actuate the power fold, just like you saw us upgrade our 2500 into. So awesome. Like I said, these I like so far. I'm liking these. Obviously I've bought two sets of them, slightly different sets. I love the fact that you've got a visual turn signal here on the inside, as well as the huge one on the outside that is sequential. And once again, that is what they call their switchback option. So if we were to wire this up to positive 12 volts, this blue wire, into a source that's only active, like when you do this and you turn your headlights on or your external lights on, I'll turn that off so it stops beeping, then those would be white until you turn on the turn signal, they'd be amber, like I said. But for now, we're just kind of leave that to be. We may come back in it later when we upgrade the front headlights to projectors, which will also have the switchbacks in them at that point. At that point, we may kind of tap into that circuit and run some wiring back here, but it's going to be going to take a little bit of effort because we got to come in through here, go through both door boots, come up into here. So it's going to take a little bit. Like I said, we may do it at the time we do the front headlights, or we may just kind of leave well enough alone. But for now, we accomplished what we were set out to do. We got our new mirrors installed, the reinforcement brackets. We verified that we've got turn signal and puddle lamps at this point, and we were able to do it with just the AlfaOBD programming and not having to again switch out those door modules. And again, with that being said, what I'm going to do is go ahead and wrap this one up. I rambled on long enough. It is over 97 or 98 degrees right now Fahrenheit. I will convert that to Celsius and put that up on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and get these doors put back together, and I'll bring you back for the next one. And if you've subscribed already, I thank you immensely. If not, please consider doing so. It does greatly help out the channel. It's not just something I'm saying or that other people say. We do have a 3,000 subscriber goal that we're looking to either hit and or hopefully exceed by the end of the year. With that being said, I'll let you go, and I'll bring you back for the next one. Thank you much. Bye.